faithfully delivering value, interpreting great books from around the world. Hello, this is Sally's Book Talk. Today, I'm breaking down the book Morning High Efficiency for you. Hey, is your morning like this? After the alarm goes off, you groggily hit snooze, thinking you'll get up after just one more minute.
20 minutes later, you jolt awake and scramble to wash up in a hurry.
You shove your phone and keys into your bag, dash to the subway station. Passing a breakfast stall outside, you quickly scan to pay, grab a pancake, stuff it in your bag to eat later at work. Rushing like crazy, you barely clock in on time. At your desk, you sigh with relief and start eating the now cold pancake. You know darn well that waking up half an hour earlier would avoid all this chaos. And you also know that if you rose an hour earlier, you could jog downstairs. If you got up 2 hours earlier, you could read a bit after running and showering. Research proves that early rising makes your day more organized and keeps you energized all day. It boosts efficiency, fostering a positive mindset and a healthier body. The 2017 Nobel Prize in Medicine went to 3 scientists who studied human circadian rhythm genes. Their research shows that aligning with your body clock, early to bed, early to rise, boosts immunity and lowers disease risk. But if your lifestyle constantly fights your biological clock, the risk of illnesses skyrockets. Oh, we all get that early sleeping and rising have tons of benefits. Yet, you've made countless early rising plans only to cave to that snooze button and the urge to sleep in. The book's author, Damon Zahariadis, is an expert in efficiency and time management. He crafted a morning routine, waking at 5 a.m. daily and tackling tasks methodically. After sticking to this routine, he became super energetic, laser-focused, and crazy efficient. He built hundreds of websites, wrote a bestseller, and runs a weekly newsletter with thousands of subscribers. Plus, he puts in 50 to 60 hours a week at his company job. He wrote this book to share his experience and help you wake early and use mornings efficiently. That morning time helps you crush daily goals and level up personally. The book has 4 chapters, covering why to wake up early, how to create a morning routine, how to handle challenges and mistakes, and case studies of successful people. Next, I'll combine the content of these 4 chapters to give you a detailed breakdown of the author's 10 steps for creating a morning routine. These 10 steps can be divided into 4 phases: preparation, planning, execution, and review. The first phase is preparation, and the initial step in preparation is setting goals. This is crucial for achieving early rising. With goals, you'll have internal drive, so you can accomplish what you want without anyone forcing you. So, the first step in creating a morning routine is to really think about what goals you want to achieve with that morning time. For instance, if your work is fast-paced and stressful, you might want to start the day with a calm mindset. You want to set a goal. Or say you spend long hours sitting at a computer all day, so you want to exercise in the morning. Or maybe you rarely have time for reading and learning, so you could wake up early to pick up new knowledge. Grab a pen and paper and jot down your goals. After writing down your goals, move to the second step of preparation: identifying obstacles. Any excuse can make us hit snooze, so it's vital to pinpoint these reasons to take targeted action and avoid oversleeping. For many people, the reason they can't stick to early rising is fatigue. Even though they resolved the night before, when the alarm rings in the morning, they feel intensely tired inside. That overwhelming fatigue turns into strong resistance within the body, making staying in bed feel way more appealing than getting up to follow the morning routine. So many choose to snooze again, but later they regret it, feeling like they wasted their morning. Not enough willpower.
But the author thinks it's not a willpower issue. You might force yourself up once or twice, but eventually, that fatigue will defeat you.
And even if you drag yourself out of bed with willpower, you're often sluggish all day, which isn't effective. So the author suggests focusing on the real causes of fatigue. Are you getting enough sleep? Is your sleep quality high? What makes for high quality sleep? On this, scientists have conducted fairly mature research. Generally, our brains go through 4 sleep stages during sleep. The first stage is the drowsy, falling asleep phase. The second stage is light sleep, which isn't easily disrupted. The third stage is deep sleep, where it's hard to be awakened. The fourth stage is REM sleep, when brain activity peaks. People usually dream during this stage and can be easily roused. For proper rest, the brain must complete all stages uninterrupted. That's a full sleep cycle. A complete sleep cycle lasts about 90 to 120 minutes. Our brains go through several sleep cycles each night. Research shows interrupted cycles may be worse than no sleep at all. For example, REM sleep is when your brain processes information and memories at high speed. If interrupted during this stage, you might struggle to focus the next day. So first, ensure enough sleep duration for multiple cycles. Adults typically need 6 to 8 hours of sleep, covering 4 to 5 cycles. If you want to rise at 6 a.m., aim to sleep by 10 p.m. the night before. Second, ensure sleep cycles remain uninterrupted. When are interruptions most likely? Like nighttime bathroom trips or sudden temperature changes, so drink less water before bed and secure windows. Yet many people toss and turn in bed at 10 p.m. unable to sleep. Maybe they had milk tea or coffee after dinner? Studies advise no caffeine 6 hours before bed. It disrupts sleep. Drinks like milk tea, coffee, and tea contain caffeine. Others stay up scrolling social media, watching shorts, or gaming.
So even if you're in bed by 10, you might still be wide awake at 1 or 2 a.m.
Thus, the author suggests avoiding electronics before bed. It's key to falling asleep early. So how can you fall asleep quickly? The author recommends fixed bedtimes to set your body clock, and exercising 30 or more minutes before sleep helps you doze off faster. 10 minutes of pre-sleep meditation also relieves stress and speeds up sleep. If you're getting plenty of quality sleep but still wake up stressed and dreading the day, it's time to check in with your mental health. Has work pressure been overwhelming lately? Are challenges too difficult? Maybe talk with your boss about work struggles or see a therapist.
Bottom line, sufficient high-quality nighttime sleep is essential for building a morning routine. With good sleep, sticking to your morning routine becomes way easier.
Without it, you'll keep hitting snooze endlessly. Some folks sleep well but still struggle to rise, loving that procrastination. For this, the author shares tricks. Set alarms to favorite songs, or place it across the room so you must get up to turn it off. Also, waking in light makes your body feel more energetic and rising smoother. If your room gets good light, skip closing curtains. Let sunlight naturally hit your bed. For cloudy days or dark rooms, try a sunrise simulation alarm clock. With alarms set, goals defined, and obstacles cleared, we enter phase 2, planning phase. Here, first calculate time needed for each task to determine how early you must rise. The author mentions rising at 5 a.m., but does everyone need to wake that early? Of course not. Your wake-up time depends entirely on your situation. Simply put, it's a backward calculation process. Say you need to reach work by 950 minutes, subway commute, 20 minutes breakfast, 30 minutes bathroom and grooming, total 100 minutes. You'd need to rise at 7:20 a.m. Add 30 minutes exercise and 20 minutes shower. Now you rise at 6:30. Want buffer time for elevator waits or subway delays? Add another 15 minutes. Now you rise at 6:15. Establishing this wake-up time is key to creating your morning routine. Third step. After setting your wake-up time comes the fourth step, listing detailed activities. For example, if your goal is a less rushed morning, your activity list might be: make the bed after rising, do 20 minutes of yoga, then prepare breakfast. If your goal is learning, your list might include reading a book, writing notes, visiting a reading platform, and checking book reviews. If aiming for better health, your list could be: run 3 laps around the neighborhood, shower at home, then eat a high-protein breakfast. Next, you also need to list habits that could ruin your morning routine. These are behaviors you don't want creeping into your morning. For instance, to avoid rushing, Steer clear of browsing news or scrolling social media. If pursuing health, skip high sugar foods. If better focus is your aim, don't check your phone for new messages every few minutes. With your activity list ready, does that mean it's time to start? Not yet. The author suggests a fifth step: choosing activities that fully boost your energy. What does that mean? For example, 2 activities that energize the author: splashing cold water on his face and drinking a big glass of ice water. These are energy-boosting moves. Best-selling author Timothy Ferriss boosts his energy by making his bed because this act gives him a sense of control. Entrepreneur Cheryl Bachhelder energizes by playing music. She turns on speakers upon waking, feeling her brain awaken.
So, the author advises noting every activity that makes you feel energized and adding it to your routine.
All right, now you can start designing your morning routine. For your first design, the author suggests picking just the simplest activities. Say you want a calm morning. Design your routine as: sit up when the alarm sounds, turn on music, wash face, brush teeth, do 5 minutes of stretching, then eat breakfast. Or if you aim to exercise early, design it as: sit up on alarm, splash cold water on face, run downstairs, return to shower, then eat high-protein breakfast. Now that the plan's ready, we're in the execution phase, the third stage. How do we take action? The author's advice is to start with the simplest plan. That's the sixth step in creating a morning routine. He repeatedly warns readers that changing too many habits at once leads to failure. Focus on just one thing at a time. The most effective way to build new habits is through gradual, step-by-step accumulation. For example, focus entirely on sitting up immediately when the alarm rings during your first week. The next week, train yourself to wash your face with cold water. Then concentrate on doing 5 minutes of stretching right after brushing your teeth. Start with the simplest plan and gradually add elements. Though building the full routine takes longer, this approach makes consistency easier. But you might find even the simplest steps challenging to execute. That brings us to the seventh step: simplify actions to reduce each activity's difficulty. Say you want to jog daily but quit after 2 days. How can you minimize resistance to make morning runs effortless? The author suggests preparing the night before. For instance, sleep in running clothes with shoes bedside, so you start jogging immediately without searching for gear. That eliminates 2 prep steps. Or pre-plan your route, like running 5 clockwise laps around the neighborhood after heading down. You could also fill a cup with cold water and place it on your nightstand beforehand. Drink it upon waking. These preparations reduce mental resistance by simplifying activities, making success easier. This applies to breakfast too. Planning homemade breakfasts, how to simplify. The night before, place eggs and ingredients in the kitchen, clean the skillet on the stove, and set plates and utensils on the table. You'll find that more thorough prep the night before makes the next morning's activities significantly easier. After smoothly completing each step, you reach the eighth step: forming a habit chain. The author emphasizes habit chains, a sequence of activities occurring in preset order. For example, alarm rings, get up, brush teeth, drink ice water, put on shoes, jog, shower, eat breakfast, leave for work. This series forms a habit chain. Each activity follows identical order every morning. Each activity triggers the next one automatically. Completing the first item in the chain makes the entire routine self-executing. Triggers are crucial for forming habit chains. What are triggers? Pressing a TV remote turns on the TV. That press is the trigger. Similarly, action triggers make you perform next steps without thinking. The author automatically splashes cold water after rising. Getting up acts as his trigger. Habit chains aren't random activities, but trigger sequences. How to implant triggers? Start with existing habits, like morning brushing, then attach new actions to them. Want a reading habit? Sit at your desk immediately after brushing, making brushing trigger reading. In short, leverage ingrained habits to build new ones. This lets your brain effortlessly integrate new activities into the chain, but don't expect instant success by chaining multiple new activities at once. Demanding 30 minutes reading, plus 30 minutes English news, plus 30 minutes yoga creates overwhelming resistance. You'll fail for sure. Instead, pair new habits with old ones to form mini chains, much easier to execute. Example: brushing, reading forms one mini chain. Breakfast, English forms another. Later combine them into larger chains. Next comes the 9th step. The author suggests writing down each action step and posting it on the fridge, by the bed, or on the desk. Writing it by hand helps you focus on what you're jotting down. Now, scientific research shows that the brain's cognitive processes differ between writing and typing. Handwriting engages the brain uniquely, fostering deeper understanding and stronger memory. A long-term processes to the brain's underlying pressure. Plus, recording every activity makes your goals clearer and more visible. It also acts as a daily reminder to follow these steps, creating an automatic cycle where you don't rely on willpower. It just becomes habit. So, the author advises grabbing a sheet of paper, splitting it into 2 columns, list daily activities on the left, and note each one's time in minutes on the right. This ensures you finish the whole morning routine without rushing, covering prep, planning, and execution phases. Next is the 4th phase, review. The author recommends a weekly summary and adjustment. That's step 10 in building your morning routine. Because life never stops changing. Maybe your new boss demands a daily meeting 10 minutes earlier, or after a month of jogging, you want to try morning reading. So you gotta update your morning routine as your environment and goals shift. The author suggests that during review and tweaks, first see if your goals have changed, like switching from health to learning. If goals shift, the following steps need updating too. If goals stay the same, check if morning tasks piled up, or if work and commute times changed. All this means your morning routine needs adjusting. Finally, the author stresses 2 points to ease worries for folks creating and sticking to morning routines. First, anyone can succeed at building a morning routine. Some might think it's totally impossible to wake early because they're just not morning people.
But the author believes, don't let your own thoughts define you.
A truth in life is that 90% attitude plus 10% performance equals success. Perhaps it's the mental suggestion you give yourself. That's the key factor preventing you from waking early.
Why not redefine yourself as someone who enjoys rising early? Challenge that attitude and see if you can change.
Second, nobody's perfect. Don't be too hard on yourself. If you miss a day, like turning off the alarm and going back to sleep, it's no big deal. No need for guilt. Just start again tomorrow. If you skip several days in a row, return to step 2. Step 2, identify what's blocking your early rise, like staying up too late, excessive stress, or mental exhaustion. Then readjust your activity list. All right, that covers the book's main content. Let's recap. Creating a morning routine involves 4 stages: preparation, planning, execution, and review. In preparation, define your early rising goals and eliminate obstacles, be it lack of sleep, mental tension, or habitual procrastination.
During planning, calculate time needed for activities, list them in detail, and find energy-boosting actions.
In execution, the author stresses starting simple, lower difficulty per task, gradually forming habit chains, and especially writing the routine down. For review, he suggests weekly summaries and tweaks to align the routine with your work and life needs. In closing, the author tells readers, your choices shape your life. Will you repeatedly stay in bed or rise early to savor wonderful moments? Will you waste mornings on your phone or steadily achieve your life goals? It all depends entirely on you. All right, that concludes our interpretation of morning high efficiency. Reading notes are below the audio. See you next time.